Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. But get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air getting thinner. Standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
You're watching JJDrones on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Karl Marx. You're watching JJDrones on YouTube.
I'm Karl Marx and I approve this message.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my head. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I go.
Live from the Volvo 780 studios. USA. This is JJDrones Live. And now, here's JJDrones.
And it's JJDrones Live. Welcome to the train wreck. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We've got Clint Garrett. We've got Shade Tree America, Chris. We've got City Slicker, Chris. I'm sorry. Let's try it again. City Sticker, Chris. We've got Lone Cowboy Adventures, TJ, Giggles and Drones. We've got Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors. We got my mom, Nancy Naylor. We've got my dad, Dave Johnson. We've got Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors. And we've got Lane Maybe. We've got Brian from Cheesehead Media. We've got baby girl Haley Johnson. We've got Stormy Sky Real Productions. Robert Mack Media. Thank you all for coming in today. And if you would like to have one of your videos featured on my website, email me, Jason at JJDrones360.com. And for everything JJ Drones related, go to JJDrones360.com. And if you're already doing your Amazon shopping anyway, use one of my Amazon links. They're on JJDrones360.com/Amazon1. And if you would like to submit a video for Blinker Flute of the Week, just email Dan, droningveteran@gmail.com. And we also have Haley's Coasters, $10 each, paypal.me/JJDrones. And we do have Brian from Cheesehead Media backstage. He's working on some technical issues right now, but we're going to get him up. And we've got a whole lot of things to cover on the show today, so I appreciate all of you for coming in today, and I really appreciate your patience, because there's a lot of stuff that is very important to me that I want to talk about tonight. And the biggest thing that I want to talk about right now is, number one, I talked about this last week, and I talked about it a couple weeks ago as well. My commitment to Reeds Across America and to raise money for them. And I wanted to start the show off because I had an email from Gary, who is unable to join the program today. But he sent me an email because he did a video that he wanted to share with everybody. And before I do that, let's introduce Brian to the show. Welcome, Brian, from Cheesehead Media.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you for coming in, brother. And we got Carl Marks joining the program. Thank you so much for coming in. And yes, I'm doing well. I appreciate you coming in. And for all of you that are interested, my mouth is feeling a lot better. I am glad that I went to the dentist a couple weeks ago because it sure feels good not to be in excruciating pain. And Brian, it's sounding good on my end. I'm not getting any echo, so whatever you did worked. Ted says that he's getting ready to stop at Grove City Mickey D's. I got Theo with me. Okay, good to know. Thank you so much for coming in and listening, Theo, as well. And Gary says, sorry on phone, terrible Wi-Fi connection. And let's see here, City Sticker Chris says, okay, so Chris says, pass up Mickey D's, Ted, get sheets, it's better food. Probably true. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, Reese Across America is probably one of my favorite organizations, and I'm trying to raise money for them, and you can go to jjdrones360.com/donate. That's jjdrones360 /donate, and Gary sent me a video that he wanted me to share with you because he wasn't able to be on the program today due to his Wi-Fi connection. So let's see what Gary has to say.
Howdy, everybody. When I say everybody, it's just going to Jason Johnson, and I'm hoping he shares it to all his disciples that watch him out there on YouTube land and on his website. So it's, to me, the cause that he supports, excuse me, Reese Across America is a really good cause. Hashtag find a way to serve. Excellent, excellent, excellent cause. I can't emphasize that enough, but so my message to JJ Drones is this. You know, Jason, you know my financial situation. It's not the greatest right now, but I'm making a sacrifice. I'm going to make a sacrifice in my life for the people to sacrifice their lives to keep us free, right? July 4th is coming up very soon. If I remember correctly, off the top of my head, I think that is on a Tuesday. So I'm making a challenge, and I really want to put it out there, and I really want to challenge some of your followers. I'm the poorest dude on the planet, but I want us to knock out some donations, and my challenge is, it's not to Jason, but I'm asking Jason to put the challenge out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to donate $7.50 per week for as long as I can do it. I don't know what's going to happen, in the future, but at least for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to donate $7.50 to Reese Across America through JJ Drones. You can go. He has a special account that you can go and to his, I believe it's PayPal. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it's PayPal. And what I'm asking is somebody step up and support the other half of the reef, right? And don't talk about it, be about it. And that's my challenge. I'm calling people out. I'm not calling people out by name. It's not my responsibility, but July 4th is coming up very soon, right? 3 weeks away, basically 3 weeks away, something like that. But, so Jason, you can share this, brother. I'm not calling people out by name, but I'm calling people to step up. It's like, don't wait till the last minute. The way I correlate $7.50 is, all right, it's a few less beers I have to drink. I'm not going to buy a cup of coffee today. I don't drink Starbucks coffee, so that Starbucks probably costs $7.50. But I'm saying you can cut back on certain things. I'm not going to eat at Subway today or whatever it is. But there's so many ways you can cut back to contribute to people that gave their lives for our freedom. Our freedom. People, I wish they would watch more military combat videos to really understand what these people went through. So many different, a lot of people are talking about, empty homestead, just stuff related to invasion, at Normandy, landing, landing at Normandy and stuff like that. And it's just crazy that the further we get removed from these battles and these conflicts or wars, whatever, they're all like titled something different, even though, it's really a war and it was a conflict, it's like BS. Don't when people die, from the enemy, to me that's a war. That's it's more than a conflict. So Jason, please share this out. If it helps, brother, but I'm calling people out.
And that is the message from Gary. And it's a very heartfelt message. And, Gary is very supportive. And, wow. Hang on, everybody. My dad is saying, let's do a match. We will match 3-1 for the next, up to the next $250. So my dad will match $250 if we can get 3-1. So let's see. Dad, let me do the math on that. So 250 divided by 3, right? 250 divided by 3. That is $83, something like that. So my dad is going to match up to $250. So and Gary is going to match $7.50. Gary, you have the biggest heart on the planet, sir. You have the biggest heart on the planet. You will give your last dime, and I know you will. And I'm not asking you to do that. We said Across America is not asking you to do that. But everybody else in the chat, you have to understand that last year, one cemetery was short 34,000 wreaths, and they're only asking for $15 a wreath. So you can go to my website, jjdrones.com/donate. There, you can donate for anywhere from $1 up to whatever you want. If you want to buy some merch, there's merch there. I'm trying to give you something that's worth your money to donate so that you can get something. And whatever proceeds I make from that, you can go ahead and be rest assured that every single penny that I make is going to Reach Across America. Okay, so my dad says I get $750, he pays $250. So if I get up to $750, my dad will pay $250. So that would get us up to $1,000. So if we can get up to $750, guys, in my PayPal, and right now my PayPal's got a little over $110. So we're on our way. If we can get up to $750, my dad will match $250. That will put us over $1,000. So if you can give anything from $1 all the way up to $100, whatever you want, please do so. And Robert Mack, my next trip to Ontario is going to probably be in a few weeks. I'm going to probably be going up to Washington or Oregon the next trip. But I'm pretty sure the next trip after that's going to be to Ontario. But it's not going to be that. It's not going to be very long. But Gary says, big heart, small finances, people, Independence Day is coming, and Americans died for our freedoms. Yes. And Gary is going to do the match up to $750 up until July 9th. And Paul says, if someone pays $1,000, I put in $1. Sorry, things are tough. Yeah, I understand that, buddy. Do it today, folks. Do not let this forgotten. Help today, and you will feel better tomorrow. So, and I'm not saying that you have to do it now. You've got, I'm doing the donation drive until Thanksgiving Day weekend. But the more that we can do now, the easier it is going to be later. So definitely, if you can find it in your heart, if you can find it in your finances, like I said, even if it's just $1, go to jjdrones360.com/donate. You can click on anything and it'll bring you to my PayPal. Chris says, I don't do PayPal. What other ways can we donate? Chris, if you want to do Venmo, if you want to do cash, I can give you my address. But the biggest thing is just find a way. And I will find a way. Just text me later, and we will find a way to help you donate easier. And Gary says, I'm saying do it now, at least a small portion. Absolutely. So, just kidding, it's 99 cents, okay. I said any amount, Paul. At 99 cents is fine. Anything. But, yeah, you could write a check and send it to me. Robert Mack says, I'll be sending you an envelope once I get back to Missouri. That's absolutely fine, Robert. I really do appreciate it. Now that I've got off that soapbox, and Brian is going to be our Dan for the day because Dan is not able to join us. But you got big shoes to fill there, Brian.
Very big shoes.
But not only is Dan away, but you're never going to believe this. Our sponsor decided to leave us out in the cold this week. So I had asked Lord to do it, and he wasn't too happy about it. In fact, take a look.
Because Dan can't make it this weekend and Sadie is off having fun, I guess I am stuck introducing this stupid feature that my dumb owner keeps putting on his show every week. So here's this, whatever you want to call it, of the week. Oh, I don't know. I think it's Blinker Fluid of the Week.
And it's Blinker Fluid of the Week. And Gary wants to know what kind of cheese you brought to the wine and cheesehead party
this week, Jason?
What's that?
What flavor of a Blinker Fluid are we drinking this week?
This week it is Blue Moon ice cream. Blue Moon ice cream is the flavor of the week. So Dan was teasing me with ice cream earlier today, so I got to take my swig. That's good stuff. So
for those asking, I brought a smoked Gouda to the Wine and Cheese Festival.
Oh, smoked Gouda, Gary. Smoked Gouda is the cheese that he brought. And so let me get to our Blinker Fluid of the Week segment. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. And yes, Paul, it does look like a cow on that bottle. You see that, Brian? Yeah. Smoked Gouda does not sound that good.
Smoked Gouda is amazing. Mix that with like a beer pasta and maybe a Havarti and make a grilled cheese sandwich. It's great.
Okay, here we go. Number one. Now this car is sitting at the red light, making or trying to make a U-turn. This all looks perfectly normal, right?
Do it. Do it.
Oh!
Congratulations! Yay!
He was cheering her on because she is going to be on Blinker Fluid of the Week. And here's number two. Nothing crazy going on here, right, Brian?
Nothing yet. I'm waiting. Oh, look at that wonderful interception.
And oh, yeah, that didn't look right. Very good spatial awareness, though, right?
Cutting off the sound.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for you. Okay, here comes number 3. Okay, now that's not even the worst one. Or is it the worst one? No, that was the worst. That was the worst one. Just cutting across 3 lanes of traffic.
And to make that exit ramp.
Oh yeah. Here comes number 4. Always make sure you know what your exit ramps are before you take them. Not like this guy. That Honda Element.
Well, that just kind of explains it all.
Right? Here comes a bonus clip. And no, it's not the bug on the windshield. Nothing crazy yet. Wait for it. Wait for it. And boom. Oh, illegal U-turn right in front of a semi. Oh, you gotta love this blinker fluid of the week. It is so tasty. Almost as tasty as my dad's pot roast. And thank you, Kathy, for putting us on TV tonight. I appreciate you doing that for me. Let's see here. Gary says Utah has few restrooms. Cut number 3 a break. Nature was calling. Okay, so we have got to vote. And I am going to put up the poll now. It is going to be number 1, 2, 3, or 4. And number 4 is the illegal U-turn. Number 3 and number 2 are both taking the exit ramp at the wrong time. And number 1 was cutting off Dan at the stoplight. So you got 1, 2, or 3, or 4. If you can vote right now, if you want to vote for the bonus, do hashtag bonus in the chat, and Haley's going to tabulate all of those votes. And we're going to see who is going to be the winner at the end of the program. Brian, which one did you think was the most egregious?
Ooh, I'm going to go with number 4.
Number 4. Oh, that's a good one. And my vote actually goes for the hashtag bonus, because I don't think number 1. Doing an illegal U-turn is a dangerous move. But number 2, you're doing an illegal U-turn in front of a semi that's going at a high rate of speed. So, and Lone Cowboy Adventures agrees with me. But we're going to see what everybody else votes in the chat at the end of the program. Let's see here. Hey, 922 Crappie, thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Now, one of the things that Brian and I both share is a love of flying drones, right, Brian?
Oh, every weekend I've been trying to get out. So.
And I'm so happy that you've been able to go out there and fly your drone a little bit more than you've been able to do in the past, right?
Yeah, I've been, last year I was kind of limited a little bit, but now I make sure I set aside an hour or 2 every Saturday and or Sunday to just get up in the air, even if it's just my backyard.
Right. And it's all about the love of flying drones. And the number 1 drone company in the U.S. and basically around the world is DJI. Now, our glorious legislatures in Washington, D.C., and it doesn't really matter whether they're Republican, Democrat. I don't care who they are. If they do the wrong thing, I'm going to call them out. And Elise Stefanik put out a press release, and they're basically saying that, and I'm going to read from her press release here. It says, DJI poses an unacceptable national security risk as Chinese law provides the Chinese government with power to compel DJI to participate in and assist in its espionage activities. The FCC has implemented changes to ban equipment authorizations for companies on a covered list of communications equipment and services that pose an unacceptable risk to national security of the United States. This bill would add DJI to that list. Now, basically what they're saying is they want to add DJI to a list of drones that were not going to be able to be flown by governmental agencies. Now, this isn't covering like the recreational flyers. But Brian, one of the things that it mentioned in this press release is that the DJI drones pose a serious national security threat and belong nowhere near the federal government. The Department of Defense has recognized this and acted accordingly. And now it's time for Congress and the rest of the federal government to follow suit. Legislation like My American Security Drone Act helps mitigate the DJI threat by preventing the federal government from procuring these drones and countering CCP Drone Act builds on this effort by preventing these devices from benefiting from federal communications subsidies and operating on FCC infrastructure. So from what I'm reading there, and this is and that's a quote from Congressman Mike Gallagher from Wisconsin. So if you're from Wisconsin, contact Mike Gallagher because he doesn't know what he's even signing on to. Brian, do you think they have any idea what they're talking about?
Absolutely none. And I think that this is not just if they're going to have the FCC ban this, the only way they can do that is by removing the FCC certification of the radios from the transmitters on both the drone and the controller. So this will affect the consumer drone market 100% because you can't remove that certification just for government. It's going to be there itself.
Right, and then the other part of the press release, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's just long and drawn out, and it's boring, and I'd lose all of my viewers if I read through the entire thing. But basically, they said that the CCP was going to benefit from drones flying over federal infrastructure. Brian, as a licensed drone pilot, what are the rules about flying around federal infrastructure?
You can't. It's not legal. and to make it even better, DJI software makes sure you can't.
Right.
Here, let me just. It's this is just so idiotic. It isn't even funny.
If you want to share your map, all you have to do is hit the share screen at the bottom of the page, and Brian's going to be sharing us showing a map here.
There we go.
And while you're doing that, Chris says this sounds like the big Furby band in the late 90s in DC over recording capabilities. That it does sound like that, doesn't it, Chris? And Lone Cowboy Adventures, I wonder if Cheesehead's head is full of cheese. Only on Thursdays, but we won't get into that right now. But here's a map, and Brian, why don't you tell me what we're looking at here?
Well, this is just this is DJI's map, and I have two of them that I'll show you. Everything that's in red are no-fly zones, and if you're familiar with this area of southwestern Ohio, Dayton, this is Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, right here, this big red area. You can't fly in there, and actually everything else, this is all airspace as well. That you have to get permission from either the FCC and more likely DJI to fly in. And
right.
What got me in this DJI problem is that I was found a beautiful covered bridge, wanted to fly around it, and all of a sudden, I'm finding out I can't. Here it is, the Martinsville covered bridge, and DJI has it in a no-fly zone. And what makes it really funny, let's see if I can switch over to the other screen here and show you that. I'll stop that one. And I'll present this one. Everyone who flies a lot, especially that travels, AirMap is probably one of the most common maps there is. Look at all this area. This is what the FAA allows me to fly. You know, you have to get permission some of these days, but we'll go down here to that covered bridge in Martinsville. There's no problem. I can, right here is a covered bridge. The FAA says I can fly there whenever I want. DJI is the one who's actually restricting me. So this idea from these legislatures that somehow the Chinese government is getting bonus information, I don't know how, because the DJI prevents me from flying where I want to half the time.
Yeah, DJI is super cautious over what you are allowed to fly. I mean, they are probably too cautious. And the reason that this is just absolute nonsense is because these politicians, they want to go out there and they just want to put scare tactics into everything. And there is no danger of the CCP getting any sort of critical infrastructure information from a DJI drone. The only reason that, or the only thing that got any sort of critical infrastructure for the CCP over the last year is that stupid balloon that went over the country that nobody did anything about. So, you know, you want to talk about a bunch of people that are trying to do something when there's no problem at all. That is probably the one of the biggest jokes around. So if you are in the district for Elise Stefanik or Mike Gallagher, I'm sorry. If you're in the districts of Elise Stefanik or Mike Gallagher, call them up. Say, what do you know about DJI drones? Because I don't think you know what you think you know. And Brian, you're in Gallagher's district.
Interesting. No, I'm not.
No? Oh, okay.
He'd
so
be north of me. Nope.
Oh, okay. So he's in northern Wisconsin.
I think he's north of Milwaukee. I'm southeast corner. I was in Paul Ryan's district. I can't think.
I'm sorry.
One of his guys replaced him. We will go down that road. So.
Yes. Ted says sounds like it's a start of something more. I guess if DJI had a balloon, they'd be okay with that. That's so true, Ted. Thank you so much for coming in, Dave. I appreciate you being here. So, I mean, if you have any knowledge on the rules of flying drones, okay, you have to go through a full knowledge test. In order to be a Part 107 pilot. And I have done that, and Brian, I'm assuming that you have as well. And when you go through that knowledge test, you learn the areas that you can and you can't fly. And any sort of, critical infrastructure is not allowed, like dams. You're not allowed to fly over power plants. You're not allowed to fly over prisons. And you're not allowed to even fly over like a football game or a baseball game or anything like that, anything where there's like a whole lot of people. So there are so many ways that you are not allowed to fly, and DJI does not allow you to do it. And they are more cautious than the FAA allows because they don't want you to be getting in trouble with your drones, because if you do, that is not a good business plan for DJI. If you constantly get in trouble with your drone and if you're getting fines, DJI is not going to sell you drones because you're just going to be like, I can't afford to, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Gary says, ask the reps
Yeah.
if they own a drone, have an FAA certification to be legal. It should be illegal to talk about something you have nothing about. And I agree with you, Gary, 100%. And I'm not even going to get into Mike Lee out there in Utah, but because that's another situation for another day. Chris says if they want to ban drones from China because of recording, they need to ban anything else that can record, like iPhones and GoPros. And that's a really good point, because the iPhones, it can get closer to infrastructure than a DJI drone can.
Well, here, Jason, we're talking about a drone taking a picture of something from the sky. I'll hit share here.
Okay.
This is called Google Maps.
Yes.
Here's
Yes.
the same bridge that DJI will not let me fly over. I mean, it's right there on Google. You know, it's idiotic. What information are they going to gather from that? You know,
Nothing. 922 crap, he says, I fly a Nano, so they ain't got to worry about me. and there just is no competitor to DJI as far as quality and price. If there was, I mean, the closest thing that you can come to is a Skydio, and Skydio is a great drone made here in the U.S., but it just doesn't have the capabilities of a DJI drone, even though it is autonomous. I mean, it's made for autonomous flight, but it's not made for going out there and shooting videos like you can with the DJI drone. Then you've got the Autels, the Nanos, and those are also Chinese-made drones. So when are they going to come for the Nanos? Because Autel is a product that is not made in the U.S. So, you know, is that going to be something that they're going to come for next? You don't know.
Well, you didn't go farther down the press release, and be thankful. Everyone should be thankful you didn't. But there was a line later on in which they were talking about, you know, these drones can see heat signatures of people and if the heart's beating and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, if you have the enterprise version that's used for search and rescue operations, yes. But that's the whole purpose of that drone, is to find people who are alive before they are, you know, the elements get them. So technically they are right. These drones, DJI makes a drone that can do that, but it's made to do that. And it's given those resources will go to a police department or fire department or some other first responder for that specific reason, to find a person. You know, I would hate it if I had a loved one lost in the wilderness and suddenly my local, you know, police department said, you know, we had a drone that would be able to find, you know, your loved one in the woods, but we're not allowed to fly it anymore. So good luck. It's 30 below zero in Wisconsin.
Right, and you're bringing up a good point with the enterprise drone, because the enterprise drone, you're going to be spending upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 for that drone. That's not the typical consumer drone. That's not what you and I are going to go out there and put our money on, and that's not something that every ordinary individual is going to go out there and spend their money on. So the only people that are going to be able to pay for an enterprise drone are the people that have a boatload of money. And those people aren't going to be using drones. They're going to be finding some other way to get in. So it's really crazy to hear these Congress people talk about things that they have absolutely zero information about. And so I'm just calling out people that are in the districts of Mike Gallagher and Elise Stefanik, and even just call your legislator, your legislator, and just say, hey, what do you think about this? This bill that's going to be passed in the House, and what do you really think about it? Because I don't think you know what you really should know. And then try and tell them, you know, the God's honest truth. And you know, I've got no skin in the game with DJI. I'm not making a penny if they sell a drone. And if I can't fly my drones, I'll find another way to do it. I'll get another set of drones. That's fine. But I just want there to be honest communication about this whole situation, because there's nothing even close to honesty going on here.
None at all. almost want to know how much Alltel and some of these other companies have donated to Gallagher and what's her name, Stephanie
Elise Stefanik.
campaigns
Yeah.
for the next election cycle.
Right, and that's another good avenue to go down. 922 Crappie says, I still don't understand TikTok allowed to play music and YouTube gets hammered with copyright. That's a very good question. Chris says, I'm guessing the politicians don't own stock in drones. If they did, this would be a non-issue. Perfectly valid point. Ted says, drone deer recovery has an awesome drone. And that's another thing. You know, these drones that are out there are doing much more good than they are harm. They're used by police stations. They're used by fire departments. They're used by search and rescue teams. They're used in drone deer recovery. And there's so many different uses other than going out there and trying to take pictures of a damn dam. Gary says, Brian mentioned that really made me think deep about the temperatures a quality drone can withstand. I am assuming 30 below might be difficult, but I don't know a damn thing about drones. Yeah, 30 below is going to kill your battery on your drone easily.
Yeah, but if you're stuck outside in the elements and you don't have a jacket or something, it's going to be even worse for the person.
Hey, Simply Nanette, thank you so much for coming in. Haley says, YouTube copyright strike is its own policy and avoid legal issues. They strike you first before they're named next to you in a lawsuit. So I don't know enough about that to get into that, but that's the information that Haley put out there.
Well, I'll say this. I some of the things that companies that are on the banned Chinese list, there is a way of doing packet tracing and finding out what information is being sent, and that's how we find. I can't think of the 5G company right away off the top of my head, but they were sending, they were sending some data back. You know, and that might just be all that it takes. Is that, you know, instead of just outright banning this, you know, do a deep packet inspection, see what is being sent back. You know, I don't think it's hardly anything. I know DJI has their little social media thing where you can store some photos on their servers, you know, but for all intents and purposes, what they're getting it's nothing.
No, it's landscapes. It's landscapes. It's pictures of the water. It's pictures of whales and dolphins, and you know, it's not anything that is considered infrastructure. Okay, but let's go back to the comment that somebody made about iPhones. Because the iPhones are made over there in China, what's to say that, you know, there's not tracking devices put in every single one of those iPhones? We don't know that.
Oh, easily. I mean, I know that there is a plant in India, but that can barely keep up with their market. Well, you know, you mentioned GoPro. GoPro is an American company. They tried making a drone. They followed them all. You know, how many years ago was that? You know, there is no competitor. DJI makes the best drone.
They do.
In my opinion. And it's just going to take forever for anything to catch up to them. So there's no point to this.
So I'm calling everybody here to try and talk to your legislator, find out where their position is on this bill, because I'd like to see it killed. It's completely pointless. They're doing absolutely nothing for no reason, and trying to ban DJI drones from the federal airspace is just going to hurt the consumer that's just going out there and taking pictures of natural landscapes and putting them up on YouTube. That's pretty much what it boils down to for me, Brian.
Yeah, I agree completely, 100%.
Another thing that I want to bring up, and this is going to be an update to a story that I did back in October. And I told you guys that I was going to give you an update once I got more information. And it's been a while because there hasn't been a whole lot of information going on. But just to kind of give you a quick recap over what I am talking about, I'm going to share with you a little bit of the show that I did back in October. So let's listen a little bit more on what this guy's got to say.
Directly at us, plowed right through the gas pumps and right into the building.
A10 works at nearby Campione's convenience store. The Michigan State Police says a semi-truck and trailer went off US 41 and crashed through a power line alongside Campione's. It then traveled alongside the store before crashing into the Holiday gas station. A10 and the cashier ran through the front of the store after trying to leave through the back. They went to the Dollar General parking lot across the highway as the fire grew.
It was a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. It went from just the gas pumps on fire to the whole pavilion area that was covering the gas pumps, slowly spread to the semi, all the way to the store, and it wasn't with 10-15 minutes and the store was up in flames.
So 10 to 15 minutes, the whole store's up in flames, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Nanette. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you being here. So we've got a truck. I'm assuming, okay, the first thing, and I'm assuming the truck's out of control. No brakes, right?
Right. Yeah.
What would your assumption be?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A medical issue, a mechanical issue. That would be my first guess as to why a truck is out of control.
Now, if I know nobody in here is familiar with the Lance area, but if I remember correctly, just going off of memory, that Lance area where the Holiday gas station is located, it's off to the right as you're coming into town. And okay, so that is the story that I'm referencing, and if you weren't here for that, I apologize, but that was a show where I was really fired up, and the reason that I was fired up is because it had a truck driver that was only a trainer for a short period of time. He was intoxicated in the truck, and none of this is alleged anymore. This has all been found as facts by the court up in Baraga, Michigan, and the court also gave some updates to the Mining Journal, and so I am going to share that screen with you right now. And okay, so it says Illinois driver. I don't need the pop-ups. Illinois driver charged in fatal crash bound over. Oh, hang on. Sorry about it, everybody. Okay, so the Illinois man allegedly behind the wheel for the fatal crash at a Holiday gas station in Lance was bound over to Baraga County Circuit Court on 3 counts after a preliminary hearing Tuesday. And his name is DeJuan Johnson, 23, of Highland Park, Illinois, and he was working for Sierra England at the time of the crash. Now, Sierra England has taken responsibility for said crash, and that was reported in 2 separate articles that I've read. Johnson faces felony charges of operating while intoxicated, causing death and operating while intoxicated, and causing serious injury. And if convicted, he could face up to 15 years in prison. Now, his blood alcohol level was 0.156%, according to the Michigan State Police. And because of that, now, most people, if you go and get your blood alcohol level tested, it's at 0.08. If you are a CDL holder, you are held to a higher standard, so you're only allowed 0.04. So this guy was almost 4 times the legal limit when he crashed his truck into the Holiday gas station. Now, there's been a bunch of testimony given as far as whether or not they're going to be able to charge him with serious injury. That was pretty much the only thing that they were going through as far as what I read in the article. Now, I'm still waiting for more updates to come in, but I definitely want to stay on top of this story because when that story happened, I came on the air and I talked to all of you guys about it, and I told you that I was going to keep you informed. This guy looks like he's going to face prison time, and he deserves to face prison time. I don't know what's going to happen to his co-driver. That wasn't even mentioned in the story, but as for him, to be at .156 and have an open container in the truck with him, which isn't alleged, it is actually a fact that has been found by the court, is absolutely irresponsible. And for Sierra England to let somebody in the truck that has that low of an experience level that is irresponsible like that is absolutely atrocious. And I hope that they get sued to oblivion in civil court because they deserve every last bit of it.
Did you say that he was 23 and he was a trainer, or he was being trained?
No, he was the trainer. So that means that he had
23.
Yes. And this happened back in October. So back in October, he was 22. I do believe. If I'm incorrect in that, folks, don't hold me to that. But I'm pretty sure that, I know that he's 23 now, according to the article. And let's just assume that he was 23 back then. That still gives him less than a year experience driving a truck and being a trainer.
That alone is irresponsible.
It is. It's absolutely irresponsible. And Sierra England, they need to pay. 922 Crappie says, one senators in Ohio will not take my calls. Last name is same color as his politics. Oh, I know how that goes. And I get a lot of those form letters back saying, we appreciate your concern in this matter, and we really take your opinion to heart, and we're going to really take it under consideration, and then they stab you in the back. Let's see here. So anyways, going back to the story about the truck driver, it's horrible. I'm glad that he's going to face justice. It looks like he's going to face some jail time. I'm going to stay on top of this story until the end. I really am, because this is, not only was it a horrible, horrible, tragic accident that could have been prevented, and taking the life of a father of 4 children. Remember this. A father of 4 children died because somebody was irresponsible enough to put a 23-year-old behind the wheel, or not even behind the wheel, training another driver and getting drunk and then crashing into the gas station. Carl Marx says, I remember we talked about bare minimum training. We also discussed what should be minimum standards. And absolutely, Carl, bare minimum training standards should be applied. And all of these large carriers, they get a pass because they just go in and they apply for an exemption and they just get it. My mom says the trainee had no choice. And the trainee does have a choice to the extent that he could have called Sierra England and let them know. But other than that, it really depends on the situation for that trainee. But it doesn't look like the trainee is going to get charged because I haven't seen anything about it. TJ Giggles and Drones says, Jason, I went and bought a dozen bees, but they were nice enough to throw in an extra one, so now I got a freebie. Brian.
Wow. Wow.
Paul C says 25 years old and at least 5 years of experience. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. 25 years old, 5 years experience, bare minimum, and you have to have an immaculate record for that 5 years. Because even at 25 years old, you're still not mature enough to go out there and be training other drivers. It just doesn't happen. You have to show that you have an exemplary record if you're 25 and you're training. That's not the standard now. That would be my standards if I were to put them into place.
Well, it just sounds like it was a blindly blind.
It was. It really was. Paul says 30 would be better in 10 years experience, but have to shoot low because of the brains of the politicians. Yeah, you're not kidding there, Paul. The brains of the politicians, I mean, do they have them? That is the question. One other thing that I want to bring up, because we're getting to the end of the show, we're in the last 5 minutes, and Brian, I really do appreciate you being on the program today. I always do appreciate you being on, and thank you so much for that. But there is one write-up that was done, and if you follow my Facebook page, this write-up was done by CCJ Daily, and it's all about the Breakbush training program, and it was written by Angel Coker. She's a senior editor for CCJ Daily, and it just goes on, and they did an interview with Ryan, my first trainee, and if you want to go and check out that article, I will definitely go and put the link for this article in the description of the video, or you can go to my Facebook page on Facebook, JJDrones 360. But it's a good read. There is one part of it that really makes me laugh, saying that we have 100% retention in our training program, which we only have one trainee. So let's see here. We've got politicians regulate driver hours but can't use common sense on training. Yeah, and that's exactly right, Chris. Gary says, I would love to see some controversial politicians try and learn to drive a big rig for a week. I would love it. I would love it. I would love for one of them to come learn how to drive a truck. Any politician that wants to learn how to drive a truck, email me, Jason at JJDrones360.com. I will find a way to get you in a truck, and I will train you.
Hey, Jason, I know it's a little off topic, but read somewhere there's proposed legislation that they want to regulate the speed of all trucks to like 65 miles an hour.
Yes, and that sounds like that's going to be coming out either in June or July. And with the speed limiters, they're even talking about making trucks that are older than a certain age to where that it can be done automatically, that they would actually have to have something attached to the truck that would regulate the speed. That was something that was up for public comment for a while, and I'm pretty sure that the public comment didn't go very well for the FMCSA. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when the FMCSA comes out with the rulemaking this summer. It's either going to be later this month or it's going to be early next month. But you got to stay tuned, guys. If you miss 1 week, you're going to miss a lot of information because all this stuff is coming fast and furious, and I'm trying to stay on top of it, and it's not that easy. So I appreciate all of you for coming in, because I do a lot of hard work to try to stay on top of all these topics to keep all of you guys aware of what is going on. And Brian, that is not off topic whatsoever. That was right on topic. So I appreciate it. Okay, so we have to find out who is our Blinker Fluid of the Week winner for this week. Let's see. Haley, can you give me the number of votes for the bonus, and then I will be able to tabulate who is the winner. Let's see here. So 922 Crappy says, Hal, half the drivers today can't even speak English, which makes it hard to communicate with them and treat us like it's our fault. Hey, I was born here. Learn basic English, for goodness sakes. And that is 922 Crappy. That is one thing that has always been a bone of contention for me, because in the FMCSRs, the first rule that was ever written in the FMCSRs is that you need to be able to read, write, and understand the English language. And they don't follow that. So It makes it hard for people to believe that they should follow the rest of the rules when they don't follow the main one. That was the first rule that was ever written in the FMCSRs. Look it up. It's a fact. Haley says, I counted 2 for the bonus clip. So we got 2 votes for the bonus. One of those I'm sure is mine. And then we have a bunch of votes for number 1. We've got number 2 in 3rd place. Number 4 is in 4th, or let's see here. Number 4 is in 2nd place. Number 2 is in 3rd place. Number 3 is in 4th place. And the hashtag bonus is in 5th place. So the winner of our, let's see here. Blinker Fluid of the Week is, where is my drum roll? Oh, there it is. Okay, so the winner of the Blinker Fluid of the Week is number 1. Number 1, you win the Blinker Fluid of the Week, Blue Moon ice cream flavored. Oh, is that good? Dan is really missing out this week. And Brian, I'm sorry you didn't have your own to drink, but I'm sure that you've got some cheese over there somewhere.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I've been doing a lot of talking here, Brian. I'm going to give you the last word and to the audience.
I'm just going to point out a video you did for Memorial Day weekend. If no one watched that, the safety around trucks in a roundabout, please go back and watch that. It's vital. I found myself in the same situation this past weekend, and it's not just large trucks. People, pickup trucks with campers. Those are inexperienced drivers with trailers. It's farming season. The planting's done, but the first crop of hay is coming up. You got tractors with 3 or 4 implements behind them. Everyone should be watching that. That's on safety video.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate you being on the show, brother. And thank you all for coming into the JJ Drones Sunday get-together. Make sure and join us next week because you never know what I'm going to bring up, and you just want to stay informed. So thank you all so much for coming along for this ride with us, and we'll see you later on down the road. Bye, everybody.